See, Matthew Show enjoyed that little focus just then on Jennifer Kane, one of the One Coast Award winners. I look forward to having more award winners on the show as we continue to celebrate leadership in coastal Mississippi. And like I say, we can never have enough leaders. Okay, now let's shift gears and move over to my friend Kurt Allen, the president and CEO of the Mississippi Aquarium. It's been a while, Kurt. We need to get an update. How you guys been?
We are doing well. Looking forward to summer season and just having a good time at the aquarium, trying to showcase what we do and bring in some entertainment for people to come back and see us and try to create those magical experiences for everybody that comes and visits us.
Well, look, let's do this, Kurt. For people who have not been to the aquarium and are thinking about it or just want to learn more about it, It's been an interesting, important journey because what you've been doing is adding more and more to the aquarium because the key to survival as a tourism attraction as significant as you guys are is you're constantly thinking about improvements that you can make, other dimensions that you can add to make the experience better. It's like going to Disney World and discovering that they've revamped this or got a new whatever over there and so on. You guys have done the same thing. So let's kind of give people a feel for what the aquarium is today.
Yeah. So when going back, as we opened in troubled times, we were really trying to get our feet under ourselves. And as we grow up, we're coming up to our 5th anniversary this August. We continue to listen to our guests and have the feedback come in, and we want to know what people want to see. What can we do to improve? And over the course of just 4 short years, in a lot of institutions, they look at a 5-year plan on changing exhibits or even a 10-year plan on bringing new exhibits in. We're looking at things monthly, annually on what can we do to enhance that experience from the last time you were here to this time. And it's little things. People may not recognize that, when we first opened, we had American crocodiles. We no longer have American crocodiles. We switched it out to American beavers. And we want to talk about beavers, especially with Buc-ee's coming in. We want to talk about beavers. We took an entire building and renovated it to add 25 new exhibits. And a lot of people don't know that we have 25 new exhibits. And so the Changing Tides building really was a game changer for us in being able to showcase different types of species, cold water species, reef species, and even mountainous or rainforest species. Nobody thought we'd ever put a sloth on display or tortoises or poison dart frogs or geckos or blue-tongued skinks. And so there's a lot of new things that people experience when they come. And if they haven't been here in the last year or so, they're going to be amazed at the new building. And then we keep looking to the future. We want to bring those penguins back on campus and showcase those. So that's kind of our goal, is to try to get the Penguin Project up and running, and we're getting closer and closer every day.
Well, I think over the last couple of years, one of the major changes has been, or I always say enhancements because it's more of an enhancement, of course. But when the aquarium first opened, you had what was basically an auditorium space. I don't know how you guys describe that, but over time, you've really done well to take advantage of that space and make it, make the user experience so much more deep and grand. Tell us a little bit about that change.
Yeah, so that space was built to be a traveling exhibit space. So as you said, we're always looking to try to provide something to bring people back. If the aquarium is relatively static and we add a new blue fish, people aren't going to come to see one new blue fish. So you really got to do something that engages your guests to come back. One year we did dinosaurs outside to try to bring people back. But the space you're talking about was really to be an indoor traveling exhibit space. Traveling exhibits for a 6-month run or a 1-year run typically cost between $150,000 and $300,000. And that's not something the aquarium can afford. And especially when we opened in the middle of COVID and trying to get our feet under ourselves, there's no way we could have really brought in the traveling exhibits every 6 months or every year. And so we looked at that space, we looked at the assets that we had on property and decided we're going to renovate the space and create 25 new exhibits. And so the impetus really was customer feedback saying they want to see more. And when you want to see more, how do we provide that experience? And I was lucky enough to cut a deal when we first opened with a group that sold us smaller habitats, smaller tanks for fish. I didn't realize how big they were. I thought they were small tabletop tanks, and they were actually quite large. But we had those assets sitting at our warehouse. And so we designed the entire building around the assets we had. And then the design process took several months because our team really, the design was from our team. And you really start with, all right, what tanks do you have? What can fit in it? What kind of animals do we want to showcase? What kind of animal can live with another animal? And what does the collection look like? Are these animals available? Can we get them? There's a lot that goes into exhibit design. And then, so once you start with the species, then the size of the tanks matter. And then how do you take a building that doesn't have water and drains and create a new aquarium? And that was a challenge in how do we get salt water and fresh water and RO water, and where do you drain it, and all of those types of things, electrical. And then creating that visitor experience so as they walk in, it looks like it's always been there, and there's a sense of wonderment as they walk through as the kids. It's not just you walk in and you can see everything. There's a lot of twists and turns. And so it gives that little bit of excitement for kids of what's around the corner and what can I see. And so that was the whole impetus of trying to drive that project, was how much can we show off? How much do we have? And how do we make it so it's satisfying to our customer? And it's been a game changer. People love that building. They love what we've done between birds and sloths and fish and octopus. It's really a great collection of animals. And I think people are amazed of what we did in there if you saw it pre and post. Or if you've never been and didn't see it pre, you walk in there and go, man, this is a really, really cool building.
And you get to see up close, kids can just be awestruck, and that's awesome. That's what you want to do, isn't it?
Well, as you design, you design for the kids at hand. And so tanks are lower to the ground. The octopus tank has a pop-up window so kids can actually almost get into the exhibit. And so that was a huge design element, is making sure that the kids are having a good time. And there's a lot of forethought that goes into that. How do you engage the kids? Because we're here to entertain everybody. But when you see the kids walk up to a new exhibit and a lionfish swims by and they start to smile and point, and that's what it's all about, is creating those magical memories.
I think one of the things I like to maybe focus on a little bit is that while this aquarium is located in Gulfport, the state of Mississippi has invested greatly in it. That's why it's called the Mississippi Aquarium. It's all of ours. Mm-hmm. And the more people, not just from Mississippi, but even outside Mississippi, who come there to see it, can appreciate the kind of investment that our state and our city of Gulfport has put into this. It's an amazing place. And if you haven't been, especially recently, I'd really encourage you to go back. It takes a lot to make this go. I mean, one of the things that I'm always struck by when I talk to your team, you're talking about veterinarians and others, the work behind the scenes to keep this behemoth rolling is pretty dramatic, isn't it?
Tremendous. And it takes a lot. People don't really understand we call back of house, the pumps and the filters and the water quality and the veterinary care that we give to every single one of the animals. And, people don't understand that every one of our animals has a specific diet, and we run it through a nutritionist that's an expert in animal nutrition to make sure that we're providing the best habitat and the best animal welfare we can for every single species we have in our collection. Every single animal we want to make sure is thriving under our care. And so it takes a village. It takes the aquarists that oversee the fish, and the ambassador animal team that does the other animals, and the marine mammal team that does the otters and the alligator or the dolphins. And then you've got the life support people, you got water quality people, you've got all of these people behind the scenes trying to make this aquarium. As you said, it's a showcase for the state, and that's really what we are here to do, is to showcase what we can do in the state of Mississippi as being the state's aquarium. And the total project is over $100 million, and for Gulfport, Mississippi, to have $100 million project and aquarium is pretty special. And I hope, and I know most of our community, I hope everybody in our community can really be proud of what they have in their own backyard, because it is special, and a lot of work went into it, and it's something that Mississippi should be very proud of.
It is for sure. One of the cool things that's happening, he mentioned their warehouse, but there's some offsite work that has to occur too, as it relates to quarantining animals, et cetera. There's a great partnership as it relates to turtles. When we come back on the other side, we're going to continue that part of the conversation so you can get the latest. We'll see you with Kurt Allen from the Mississippi Aquarium after this break. Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. We're visiting with Kurt Allen, the president and CEO of the Mississippi Aquarium. At the first part of the show, we're just talking about all the efforts that they do to keep your experience at the aquarium as fresh as it possibly can be. So from one year to the next, you can see something new and exciting, and kids can be engaged in a big way. I mentioned when we went to break, though, we were talking about sort of the behind the scenes work, the water filtration work, the feeding of animals, all the things that you were mentioning. But there's very significant work that actually happens off-site. And you can talk about that. And also we can get the latest on the turtle work that you're doing, the turtle rehabbing that you're doing.
Yeah, so our off-site facility is a couple miles down the road, and the city was nice enough to allow us to utilize the space that we have. And we've got, it's probably 25 to 30,000 square feet of warehouse and quarantine space. And what most people don't realize is we actually kind of run two aquariums. We have the public, what everybody sees when they come to the aquarium. But in order for animals to come onto our main, we call campus, they have to start over at our warehouse. And quarantining animals, every single animal has to be quarantined before they make it into the main aquarium campus. And so when animals are brought into us, we bring them over to our warehouse. They get a vet check, and then there are very strict protocols on how we keep an eye on the animals. We test the animals, depending on the animals, whether it's a blood test, it could be a skin scrape off of a fish, a gill snip off of a fish. But we are looking for disease, bugs, parasites, anything else that these animals, if they're coming in from, it doesn't matter where they're coming from, that we will test them to make sure that they're healthy. Because we don't want to introduce any type of disease or parasite or anything else into a healthy collection of animals. And so we are very strict on quarantine protocols. Every single animal has to be checked out and treated, and before the veterinarians give it the okay to be brought over. Most quarantines, minimum 30 days. Some are 90 days plus for us to make sure that things are healthy. Wow. And so that facility handles the quarantine work. So there are special tanks, whether it's a cold water tank, a warm water tank, general holding tanks. All of those are over at our warehouse. And so that's kind of where it starts. And then the turtle side of things, we are very fortunate to have two veterinarians that have extensive turtle experience. And we partner with the New England Aquarium and the group up out of Massachusetts that deal with something called cold stunned turtles every single year. And these are Kemp's Ridley turtles that go up into the off the eastern coast of the United States, and they forage for food. And then when it gets cold, they're supposed to turn around and head south for warmer waters. And what happens is they get stuck in cold water. They get cold stunned, they float, they come to the beaches, and there is a team of people up and down the eastern seaboard that collects cold stunned turtles. They're brought into facilities to be triaged, and then they are shipped out through a very generous organization called Turtles Fly 2 that fly turtles around the country free of charge. And we are fortunate enough to be able to accept, this year we took 60 turtles in to be rehabbed. And the goal of these turtles is to get them medically cleared to be released back out into the wild. And so cold stunning starts usually in late October, November, depending on weather. And we start releasing turtles depending on the health, March, April, May. It also depends on the weather down here and how warm the water is. There's some specifics that we have to abide by with the government to release these turtles. And over the last 5 years, I don't have all the numbers off the top of my head, but we've probably done close to 250 turtle rehabs. And I think we're the number one turtle rehabber outside of the Northeast, doing programs like this on the number of turtles we've been able to help and release back into the wild. So these are critically endangered animals. And so the goal really is to get these things back out, so into their natural environment, so the species can thrive and survive.
I know when I'm offshore and I see one, it's just awesome to be able to see it. It's always a special moment. And I know when you guys release it, people are still really engaged and wanting to be part of that, aren't they?
They are, and we always get a great crowd coming out. Turtles is a species that has a lot of public support. I will say that people love turtles. We had one lady release a turtle, and the next week she went and got a tattoo of a turtle on her ankle because she was so moved by the experience. I mean, it can get to that kind of level, and so we're just happy for that, the public support, and that's one of the things we do behind the scenes that we get no money for. Like, there's no funding to rehab turtles. We've had turtles for 2 years that we've been trying to rehab, and the drugs and the time and everything else that it takes, it's costly. And we do it because it's the right thing to do. And we need more people to do it. And so the support that we get from the public, people can adopt turtles, they can donate for our turtle projects, those types of things is critically important for us to be successful with this project. So, we're always looking for support for those behind the scenes types of projects that we have.
Well, Kurt, listen, we're out of time, but it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. I know as we barrel toward summer, you're looking forward to it, and I hope you have a great summer.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You too.
You bet. You bet. It's been President and CEO of the Mississippi Aquarium, Kurt Allen. Listen, have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.